The way that these mosaic glass panels are put together is a little bit like selecting individual gems, like setting jewelry, you know, and placing the right colors together to truthfully reproduce the painting after which the work is done. If one really looks at the panel, you can see the depth and the three-dimensionality. So it's not a single sheet of glass like a traditional stained glass window, but different layers.
Individual chamois, or in plural form chameaux, are produced by assembling and fusing colored glass on a backlit table. Unlike glass mosaics or stained glass, chameaux are made up of multiple layers of glass. This gives the finished chamois a greater versatility and subtlety in terms of colors and depth. The idea for this new form of arts came to painter Jean Corti in 1930. He introduced it to a neighboring family of physicists and inventors, the Maleb-Nava family. The father and sons, particularly Roger Maleb-Nava, perfected the technique. By the early 1950s, they had formed their own company for creating chameaux.
So Jean Corti was a painter, and he had the idea of the backlit light box. Malherbe are physicists, and they really worked a lot on the diffusion of light, what we call molecular diffusion of light, and fluorescence. So it's a bit like today, like a collaboration between a pure artist and somebody who's capable of writing the algorithm for an NFT, for instance.
Pablo Picasso was introduced to the form by his friend, writer, filmmaker, and artist Jean Cocteau. Immediately impressed by the depth and richness of color that could be achieved, he's quoted as saying of chamois, "A new art is born." To commemorate the 50th anniversary of Picasso's death, the University Museum and Art Gallery of the University of Hong Kong is presenting 19 chameaux based on Picasso's works.
Some are very realistic, some are quite abstract, very modern, very contemporary at his time. Here we decided to start in the main gallery downstairs with the portraits. The portrait of Picasso himself, and then some of the female portraits of important ladies in Picasso's life, and then come up for the second part of the exhibition with the very beautifully produced still lifes, for example, right, that are also so important to Picasso's work.
Between 1954 and 1957, Picasso selected around 50 of his paintings in a range of styles to be reinterpreted as chameaux.
He loved the way it created depth because he'd been working a lot as a cubist painter in the interpretation of volume and shapes. So for him, this was really giving like a three-dimensionality that he didn't manage to achieve just with painting. Plus the effect of the light and the fact that there is like multiple layers of colors, he could achieve something that he was actually researching as an artist through cubism.
Visitors can learn more about most of the individual pieces in the exhibition by using QR codes, via which they can visit websites of organizations that own the original paintings.
The colors are the same in many ways and yet quite different. I even think that the scene has a more intense feeling, you know, with the bullfighters and the bull. That whole sort of tension that is depicted shines very well in the glass panel. We have a very deep scene, and so you see how the foreground is lit, but then the passengers in the arena in the far background are also lit. So Picasso was very talented as a painter to light and highlight different areas of the composition. And I think here it shows very well because they are physically lit.
As with his collaborations with printmakers, Picasso carefully monitored the creation of the chameau and signed the individual works. Among them is Woman in a Wicker Chair, a portrait of a romantic partner, artist and photographer Dora Maar.
So this is a portrait of Dora Maar, and this is the first Gemmaux that Picasso himself actually worked on and signed himself. Actually, we are looking at different angles at once. That's why he used different colors. So it's iconic of him. So in this very case, we have lost track of the original one, so we cannot compare. It's usually creating a lot more volume and vibrancy of colors, which is exactly what the artist was trying to achieve with his entire artistic research.
Each chamois was made to approximate the dimensions of the original painting. They are heavy due to the multiple layers of glass. The largest on show is Women of Algiers, which weighs 143 kilograms, including the weight of the light box behind it. Once, neon was used as a light source. Today, LED tubes produce a purer light. Rabu suggests that chamois was never a popular form of art, partly due to the difficulties of transporting and looking after it. Even though Picasso himself arranged exhibitions of chameau in the 1950s and 60s, the most recent previous exhibition was in Japan 25 years ago.
It's something that is quite happening a lot actually in art, that we forget artists or techniques and then we rediscover them. They're still like absolutely unique. I don't think we've seen anything like that with creating this level of vibrancy with color and this level of depth in reinterpretation of paintings. I think it's something that was somehow forgotten but that deserves attention.